Mr. President, the three organizations came together jointly to run this program to educate workers. And not only a few workers, but as many workers as possible. For the simple reason that we believe an educated worker is of benefit not only to himself or herself, or his or her family, but also is important and is of benefit to the employers and the country as a whole. The Pan-African Workers Education Program started way back in the 80s, and it developed and continued to grow in a dynamic way, so that today there are about 15 countries in West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, and Southern Africa which are involved in this program. We are involved in educating workers, yes, to know their rights and responsibilities, to know about productivity, to build their capacity, to contribute towards the development of their countries and the continent as a whole. It's for this reason, Mr. President, the honorable ministers, the invited colleagues, that we have developed various topics to be covered in this education process. We developed issues about occupational safety and health at the workplace, which is very important, HIV/AIDS, their rights, the workers' rights, but also the whole issue of conflicts. Trade unions deal with the conflicts always, ever since they were born. We deal with the conflicts because conflict is a human nature. Conflicts will always arise. We don't invite them, but they are there with us. But we believe that there are ways by which we can prevent conflicts. And for us, workers and trade unions, we believe that we should not be limited only to the conflicts between us and management, but also the wider aspects of conflicts, particularly when we bear in mind the various and the many conflicts which arise in our African continent. The representative of the work of the employers of Kenya has mentioned a number of issues, and I'm very sure that our Secretary General of OATUU here will be able to deal with some of those issues. I've been asked simply to speak a little about the background of PANAF. As I said, it's a workers' education program to educate workers, but to educate them and build their capacity not only for their interests, but also for the interests of their countries, their societies, and the continent as a whole. We believe that one of the issues which we have to deal with is social dialogue. The importance of sitting together, the social partners, employers, government, and workers and trade unions. We understand and we believe that there is nothing that cannot be solved. Sometimes workers are accused of resorting to demonstrations, to strikes, and so on. But I want to assure you, Mr. President, that workers will only resort to those things when social dialogue fails. When the doors are closed and barred, that is only the time when workers will look for something else. But as long as there is social dialogue, as long as workers and employers and government respect each other and know the rights of each one of them, and respect those rights, and respect each other as human beings, there should be no need of looking for other ways except to solve issues in social dialogue. The wider conflicts which we are dealing with is because workers are affected individually, collectively, by the conflicts, themselves, their families, and the societies. This is why we feel that workers have a role to play in conflict prevention, in conflict management, in conflict resolution, and post-conflict reconstruction. We gather here today to exchange experiences, to exchange ideas, and also to contribute in the way of conclusions as to how workers can go on playing their role, but at the same time also influence, convince, and help other leaders in society as to how conflicts can be managed.